listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. And we coming off of WrestleMania weekend, guys, coming to you from ESPN 97.5, 925. And man, like I say, what a weekend it was, man. A 3-day extravaganza for me because my weekend started on Friday. Actually, 4 days, didn't finish to Monday afternoon. So it was a whirlwind, man. It was a whirlwind. How you feel, dog? I know you was out there covering the action. How you feel?
Oh, man, it was an incredible couple of days out there in Los Angeles. And apparently the weather gods blessed us with, decent weather out there. It was a little chilly, but it had been raining and things of that nature for a couple of days leading up until. So we got blessed, man. And I will tell you this. I didn't think anything would ever top Jerry World. What is the name? AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play.
Yeah.
This SoFi Stadium.
Good God, man.
Oh, my goodness.
State of the art. Yeah. It's like you was in the Matrix or something. You know what I mean? It's like something you've seen. It's like futuristic on one of these movies. That's the way it felt. And I just, the atmosphere inside, even though it had a dome on it, it was still open. That was the cool feeling to it for me. In LA, you got something like that, man. That's the one right there, bro. That's it. Because normally the weather is beautiful. I'm talking about beautiful. And even if it's kind of cool for the players, for the players, it's got to be, the football players, it's got to be a real cooling feeling to be playing in a dome like that, man. It's actually, I don't know, man. It might be one of the best stadiums I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, it'd be.
No, wait a minute. It might be the best stadium, the coolest stadium I've ever seen.
It very well could be. It very well could be the #1 stadium of all time, U.S. side. I know they got crazy stuff all over the place, but that one, you're right, with that breeze that would come in because, I was sitting down there watching the show, and that breeze kind of energizes you a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you didn't get tired watching the show because you were getting cooled off.
I was saying that same thing during the kickoff show. It would be that breeze was coming through, but then we had the sun beaming down on us at the same time. So it never, was an uncomfortable feeling sitting in the box this time. So I loved it, man. Now, unlike Texas, you know what I mean, when we did it outside, and Kevin Patrick, he was sweating so hard. He sweated a Batman image on his suit. That's how bad he was sweating. It really made an image that looked like Batman on the back of his suit. And that brother being, from England, they used to it being nice and cool. So Dallas, man, almost killed him, bro.
WWE, as far as a production, right? They make very, very little mistakes, right? They make very little mistakes. They are Johnny on the spot. It's why they are where they are, and why no one does it like WWE. I'm talking about in all of entertainment. However, whoever made the decision to put y'all outside in April in Texas, they might need a conversation to be had.
Yeah. We definitely gonna be talking about that if they ever think about doing that in that dome ever again, man. But
it's gonna be, what it remind me of?
What was crazy was I'm from the area, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm out there. I'm like thinking cool thoughts. Like that's going to help. It didn't.
What it reminds me of is, you remember you told a story about them coming to you and saying they want to do a hair versus hair match with you and Edge, and you say, is Edge cutting your hair?
Yeah.
If they ever come back and say, we're going to do the pre-show outside in Texas heat, you're going to say, what's this we stuff? You mean y'all going to do it?
Exactly.
I'll do some remote from the Cricket Wireless Lounge or whatever it is.
Man, I'm serious, dog. I mean, it was burning out there, bro. But nah, man, what a weekend, man. I didn't get a chance to get over there, get into that con, man. I was planning on making it over to WrestleCon and hanging out with the fans for a minute. I didn't get a chance to do that, but you know what? It'll always be next time. I'll see the fans next year. Hopefully, God willing, I'll be here one more year and see another WrestleMania. My wife and I, man, we were just so thankful, getting a chance to do it again. Then the kids, my son, man, he had so much fun, man. He got a chance to go to Stand and Deliver. He got a chance to go to night 1, night 2, and he went to Raw, man. He got his full load throughout this week, man. So it was just cool to see my boy having his fun. Kendrick James, big ups, big ups.
I don't really even know where we start. You know, I mean, there's so much news out
You
there.
know what? I think we should start with giving Cali Toenail big props for repping out there in California as well throughout the WrestleMania weekend, man. He was all over the place, man. He was all over the place. He was in the fan zone. You know what I mean? He was definitely representing the Hall of Fame. So definitely big. We start out right there with big ups to Cali Toenail.
Give us some Roni, brother. Oh, yeah.
Did you get to meet Callie while you were out there?
Oh, man, I was
didn't
running
either.
around. I might have saw him, and now my head was on a swivel, though. It was one of those type of deals. When I'm in that action right there, I could be looking right at someone, but I'm not really looking at that person. I'm just looking in that area and moving at the same. No, I'm serious because everything is so fluid. I'm serious.
Well, no, I know that you're right because we ran into each other during night 2 of WrestleMania. And I was walking by you, and I felt like you locked eyes with me, stared at me for at least 5 seconds, and I kind of made the recognition look with my face. And it took you at least 5 seconds to be like, "Hey, Brad, what's going on, man?"
I'm serious, man. I could be looking right at you, man, and I don't even see you when I'm in those moments, man, because everything, like I say, is fluid, man. You moving. You're in the action. It's like being in Vegas. Speaking of Vegas, we're going to be out in Vegas on April the 22nd. Ryan Garcia is going to be taking on Javante Tank Davis, and it's going to be an awesome, awesome spectacle, and I cannot wait to get back out to Las Vegas. Big ups to my girl Tracy for making it happen. I can't wait, man. I had a conversation actually on the kickoff show with Ryan Garcia, and I got a chance to ask him, you know, what was it like to, be, going into the biggest fight, perhaps the toughest fight of his career. And he came back with a stone cold gangster answer, man. And he was like, bro, I'm willing to leave it all in the ring, no matter what. I'm willing to die. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's Warriors, man. Warrior talk. So I'm looking forward to getting back out to Vegas. It's going to be good.
It's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be going down again in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania next year. I've never been to Philly. It might be a little cold out there.
I'm looking forward to that too. I'm looking forward to getting to Philly. It's always rocking in Philly as far as the crowd, man. It's a ruckus. You got to be a real worker when you're going out and displaying your talent in Philadelphia. Even though I know it's going to be a worldwide contingency in Philadelphia, PA, come next year, but the fans just right there in the local area that's going to show up, bro, you better be ready because they will boo you out of the building, bro. Seriously, they will get on you like no other fans in this world, in this wrestling business. So I'm looking forward to getting to Philly, dog.
Yeah, I mean, look, Philly's going to be great, but we're going to talk about Los Angeles because there was NXT Stand and Deliver. There was the WWE Hall of Fame. There were 2 nights of WrestleMania. There was the Raw after WrestleMania. There was the biggest news perhaps in WWE history that went down. Tony Khan made a massive announcement last night. We got a UFC card coming up this weekend. I mean, so much to cover, Book. I will tell you, though, I want to shout out to everybody who attended WrestleMania and stopped me to say something about the Hall of Fame. There's so many of you that stopped and like, oh man, I love you and Booker. I love listening to y'all. Y'all get me through the day, through the 9 to 5. And I can't remember his name, but shout out to the guy, you know who you are, who helped me plan a quick escape from SoFi Stadium during night 2.
Oh yeah, you got some help.
I got a little help from one of the Hall of Famers, from one of
Awesome.
the listeners of the show. So I'm gonna give you a big shout out for helping me get out of there because I thought as soon as that 3 happened in the main event, I was plotting my escape. I said, if I can get out of here quick enough, I won't be in too much traffic.
But by that time, I was watching it on Peacock. But I did watch it though. We gotta take a break, guys. We gotta take a break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
I am the Rocket Josiah John. I'm training at Reality of Wrestling. I've wanted to be a wrestler since I was a little kid, since watching it with my dad for the first time and seeing guys like Booker T wrestle. That's when I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I just had to take that leap, take that drive, and chase some dreams. The greatest thing about Reality of Wrestling is all the knowledge that's here. From all the trainers, Ryan Davison, Brian Keith, I am the Rocket, yes. One day, Booker T just call me Rocket.
And I got to give him a cool name, man. And Rocket is just something that stuck out with me. And I think that's something that's going to stick with him for a long time. He had Rocket on his shirt. I don't know if you noticed that, but he's definitely falling into it, man. And he's really buying into what this thing really, truly is. And if he could just keep his mind on point and stay focused, he definitely could do something in this business.
I feel like I've been doing really well training here. Just coming as much as I can. Come early, work out before the actual training. We have like a whole gym for people to work out. What would I say to somebody that's on the fence about joining reality wrestling? I would just tell you to just take the loop, because everybody here is going to take care of you and help you get to where you need to be. You can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Just getting ready to go over this WrestleMania recap in a minute. But I don't know, man. What should we start, man? What should we start?
I think let's just go in sequential order. Why don't we start with what was your experience like for the Hall of Fame, and then we'll break down a little bit of NXT Stand and Deliver. But do you enjoy yourself at the Hall of Fame? What speech stood out to you? They always give you premier real estate on the broadcast. I saw like 40 camera cuts to Booker T and Queen Sharmell.
Hey, man, I'm just glad I made sure I stayed awake. No, it was quick. It was quick this time. That's what I liked about the Hall of Fame ceremony more than anything, is as well as to see Rey Mysterio take that walk in. And I tell you, Conan definitely was graceful in his speech when bringing Rey Mysterio into the Hall of Fame. Though that right there, I think, was the highlight moment for me. Just getting a chance to listen to Rey go down that journey for a second, from the way he started in this business, and never in a million years perhaps thinking that he was going to make it to this level, but still wanting to be the best guy in the locker room. That's what Rey Mysterio's mentality was. And when you got that mentality, it catapults you to the next level no matter what. Cream rise to the top, and that's Rey Mysterio. He's truly one of the best that ever did it.
That Conan speech, it was hard to almost, keep a dry eye, because he had so much passion in his voice, and talked about how Rey Mysterio really is Lucha Libre, right? I mean, that's who he is. I remember going to Mexico a few years ago, going to Cabo, and, they got all the little tourist shops, and every tourist shop you went into, and I remember I actually talked to Ray about this when he came down to Reality Wrestling. Every tourist shop you went into, they all had Rey Mysterio merchandise. Now, it might not have been officially licensed.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Literally, they all had Rey Mysterio. You could get the mask. You could get the piggy bank. You could get the action figure. You could get the backpack. And that's how much he means to Lucha Libre culture. And then when it comes to American wrestling, I remember Ray a little bit in WCW, but I hate to even say this, I kind of disregarded some of these smaller guys, and not the smaller guys, but the cruiserweight division. Yeah, I wasn't as much into that when I was younger. Yeah. Now it blows my mind. When I was younger, I wanted to see you. I wanted to see Goldberg. I wanted to see Sting. I wanted to see Hogan. It's just who I liked.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from that era. Back in the day, it was a masked wrestler from Mexico. His name was Mil Mascaras, and he was really, really famous.
He would do movies.
Yeah, here in the States, but in Mexico, he was like a movie star. Definitely a guy that was the top of the top elite as far as Mexican luchadors. And Rey Mysterio has taken that moniker, man. He is definitely truly the greatest, luchador that ever, did it. I really believe that. Rey Mysterio right now, he can go and do an autograph signing, man, and the line is going to be around the corner, not around the building, around the corner. That's how popular this dude is. And I say, man, I always say that the match that him and I had, for the world title was one of my best matches that I ever had in my career. A lot of people don't think about that match perhaps the way I do, but being in the ring with Rey Mysterio and understanding what this guy really, really do to really make the fans feel a certain way. He's so damn good. He is so good. From a timing perspective, he is literally impeccable when it comes to timing inside the ring. And I had so much fun working with Rey Mysterio.
I agree with you. He's the greatest masked wrestler of all time, greatest luchador. And think about this. He came into WWE in 2002, I think it was, and he's still going. That's a 21-year run. never changed his gimmick, right? Never turned heel.
Yeah.
He was the same guy pretty much from day one to now, and he still kept us engaged, entertained, put on incredible matches, brought up anybody. Ray could have a match with anybody.
Yeah.
You can have a match with Big Show, and you're believing Rey Mysterio can win this match against the Big Show. And that takes a lot of skill, man, to make the people suspend their disbelief, because we all know if Ray and Big Show really got into it, Big Show would probably win that one. Maybe, perhaps. But he made us believe. And to me, that's the mark of a great pro wrestler, is when you can make us sit and believe.
I talk about Rey Mysterio's. I mean, I tell young people to study Rey Mysterio, especially, like the axioms of the world. A guy in NXT right now who I think is amazing talent as well. Rey Mysterio, even with the mask on, like you just said a second ago, he made you feel something, and he did it all throughout his body language. He was almost like a snake charmer, and you didn't even realize you was getting charmed until you was boom bit. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of deals, So I always tell my students to study Rey Mysterio's body language, and you'll learn a whole lot.
It was an incredible thing to see. I also enjoyed the induction of Tim White into the Hall. I know Tim White was a longtime WWE guy, and I'm sure he would have been over the moon to be there and accept the award.
Yeah, man, he was a great dude, man. His wife actually came up to me in the back, and she thanked me.
Again.
And I was like, it's kind of crazy. She's thanking me for breaking Tim White's nose. And, and I corrected his sinuses. He didn't even have to have surgery. So I'm like, you're welcome. But it's great to have a great laugh about something like that, because Tim was one of a kind, man. He was a one of a kind dude, man. And I miss him. And when his brother came out on that stage to accept the award for Tim, man, we all had to do a double take, because I hadn't seen him until he walked out the curtain. And when he walked out the curtain, I swear, I thought Tim White came back to life. That's how close they looked to each other. I was like, wow. It was so uncanny. It felt like Tim White was walking out of the curtain. I know he had his other brother did the speaking for the family, but I was waiting to hear him speak, because I was wondering if he sounded just like Tim. I couldn't wait, and he didn't say anything. I was so disappointed, because I was wondering if he was going to sound, just like Tim, because Tim and I, we were so tight, man. We were so tight, and I miss that dude, man. I really do.
And it would go without saying to say that the hands of time have been very gracious to Miss Stacy Keibler, who looks sensational.
Yeah.
And I'll oh yeah.
Give us some Roni, brother. Oh yeah.
Oh man, she was definitely kept herself together. She still looked pretty much relatively exactly the same. She haven't changed a bit, not one bit. And she still got that amazing $1 million smile. And she's one of a kind, man. I was glad to see Stacy get that award and be able to thank the fans for this ride that she's had ever since WCW. That's what people don't even think about. She's been through that WCW ride, there at the end, and a huge part of this WWE universe. So I'm happy to see her make that walk, man. I really am.
And I will say this: I thought that was the coolest part of her speech when she was going through it. And she pointed out that at one time she was a young girl just trying to get Bret Hart's attention in the stands, right? Yeah. I think she had a sign that said, "Marry me, Bret," or "Say hi to me, Bret," or something like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that she was a fan going back to then. I just thought, I guess it wasn't misguided. I thought, here's this beautiful girl that they found and they put her on television. But she actually had a feel for the business. She loved the business before she even got into it. And I thought that was the coolest part of her speech. And then she got the "You Deserve It" chance, which gave me the chills a little bit.
No, it was cool. It's like Charmel, right? I remember Charmel was, of course, she started out as a Nitro girl, and then the company shifted, and then the girls had to start learning how to work. I remember Charmel learning how to work, right? She was training. And then I remember her having a couple of matches. And then I remember when she came down to WWE and she was at the training facility, down OVW. That's what it was called back then. In that same class with Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin and all those guys. And she ended up hurting her knee. And she was so bummed out about it. And I remember telling Charmel, just like Stacy, I said, baby, you're not a wrestler. You know, I say, there's nothing wrong with that. I say, but you're not a wrestler, you know. But she found her place in this business, and she did so well at what she did. And I feel the same way about Stacy Keibler. She wasn't a wrestler, okay, but she did so well at what she did. She did her job, and she did that job well, and that's the name of the game.
People probably lose their mind and start throwing their keyboards when I say this, but you know how they would characterize Andre the Giant as an attraction?
Yeah.
Right? Something to bring eyeballs to the show from all over the city. You know, for me as a young man, like if there was a Stacy Keibler segment on television, I'm not changing the channel.
Well, that's the one thing Mick Foley said and quoted me on that one right there. And that's what I say too. You know, when Stacy was on, you didn't change the channel. You wanted to watch. You was going to stay to the end. And you was hoping you saw it next week because she captivated you. And that's what this business is. It's not all about the in-ring wrestling. We got to take a break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
To the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. If anybody got any good fried king crab recipes, send it over to me. Send it over to me. I'm getting ready to go down a bit and make some fried king crab along with some asparagus. And I got one recipe, but I was just wondering if anybody got anything out there that could, you know, I could use to spice it up just a little bit. That's another story.
Well, hey, you know what? People want to hear us talk about the weekend that was the biggest weekend in professional wrestling history, maybe. WrestleMania 39, 2-night event, but it started early in the day for you on Saturday. You had a
6 a.m. in the morning.
Big wake-up call, big time.
Yeah.
And you were over there at the Crypto Arena, formerly Staples Center, to do NXT Stand and Deliver, which had two really big matches. I think they were promoted on it. Everything was promoted well, but the two big matches I was looking most forward to was the main event, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, and that women's ladder match because Roxanne Perez made her triumphant return to TV.
Let's not forget about the 5-way classic with Wesley and
the North American title.
Wesley and McDonough and all those.
Dragon Lee.
Oh my God, what a matchup! What a match! Yeah,
insane.
But where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, just kind of give me your overall. Like, what stuck out to you from NXT Stand and Deliver? We also got the debut of Ava Raine.
You know what? I think the biggest thing that stood out to me in Stand and Deliver, at Stand and Deliver, even though he didn't win the match, was Dragon Lee. Man, that dude's good, man. He's a star, dog. I'm serious. That dude is so fluid in his movements. You could tell his timing is so precise. He makes it real for me when I watch him go out there and work and do his magic. He even did the leg pop, the leg slap. And he did it so quick, I didn't even see it. I had to go back and rewind it. I swear to God. No, I'm serious. And when he did that, I go, okay, that's good. He got me because I knew it came from somewhere. but when I didn't see it, I go, okay, the hand is quicker than the eye. The hand is actually quicker than the eye, because I went back and I rewinded. I actually had to rewind it twice to actually, I'm serious, to actually catch it. And I was impressed. I was impressed with everything that young man went out there and displayed in that matchup. Wesley, of course, is, I said this kid, I quoted, and I don't give guys too much praise like this, but he's like, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm serious. I'm serious. That's how good that young man is. Everybody that played a part in that match, big props, big props. But that was the match that really I was highly waiting and anticipating on checking out. And I must say, those guys, they did stand and deliver.
What'd you think of the main event? Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes. It is now the him era. Carmelo Hayes gets the job done by auspicious means, but by means no less.
Yeah,
and defeated the long undefeated streak of Braun Breaker.
I didn't mean it's necessary, but I didn't mean it's necessary. That's the way I look at this thing, man. It ain't about making friends or anything like that. It's not about going out there and getting clean victory. I don't care about that kind of stuff. Go out there and you get you a victory. You go out there and get you a victory. You go to the pay one at the end of the day. That's what it's all about. As far as the match goes, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 6. All right.
Wow.
I'm gonna give it a 6. I ain't gonna go too high, 6, just because I know what I'm looking for, and as far as just like, say for instance, if you was a gymnast and you were doing the vault, and what am I going to be looking for most importantly in that vault? What am I going to be looking for?
The dismount, right?
That is. You're on point. You're on point. You know what I mean? So I'm looking to see if these guys stick to dismount. And I still looking. I'm still waiting. Did they go out there and perform? Yes, they did. But I just thought they was walking their way through it opposed to trying to feel their way through it. And that's wrestling talk right there. That's wrestling jargon. If you really want to know what I'm talking about as far as that go, go to realitywrestling.com and sign up, and we'll get you going. But
we'll make sure you stand and deliver.
Yeah. But I thought they did a good job. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 6.
I will say I thought the match was fine. I thought the right guy won.
Yeah.
It was time to transition the title.
Yeah.
Carmelo, who's really been a shining star, as has been Braun Breaker since this NXT redo. I will say I didn't love the finish, and I'll tell you why. I don't like it because it reminds me of something that happened at WrestleMania 31. WrestleMania 31, let me jog your memory back. There was Sting versus Triple H, right? They're doing the match. DX comes out. NWO comes out. There's all kinds of shenanigans happening. Triple H gets a sledgehammer and bah! Knocks Sting out with the sledgehammer. Right thereafter, they go to the finish. He gets the victory. And afterward, Sting stands up and they shake hands and embrace. I was like, wait a minute. You're not going to respect somebody for hitting you in the head with a sledgehammer, right? That's just my feeling. Now, I know that it was probably bigger than that moment, that particular thing. There was a reason why the embrace happened. But I'm just thinking character-wise, story-wise, psychology-wise, I didn't like it. I did not like the same thing with Braun Breaker, how Trick Williams, belt shot, looks like they're going to screw him over. The match keeps going. Carmelo wins anyway. And then Braun's like, oh, okay, hey, here's.
Oh, no, I get it. I get it. 100%. I totally understand, your feelings. That's why I say I don't give the match a higher rating or anything like that. I thought it could have been a lot better. Do I think the right guy won? Yeah, but I do think what they did on Tuesday, with Braun Breaker turning on Carmelo and Braun Breaker turning, full heel. I like that. I like that a whole lot better. I like Braun Breaker better as a heel. I really think Braun Breaker should have started out as a heel, but I think with him having, the pedigree that he does, in the background and the name recognition, I thought, maybe let's start him out. Let's jumpstart it as a babyface. People might like this. I get that too. But I'm the, from that school of you put that guy out there as a heel at first, and it teaches him everything he needs to know about being a babyface, because he's going to be working baby faces. He's going to have to go out there and figure out everything that these guys like to do. And then finally, when he gets into that role, he'll feel a whole lot more comfortable being in that role. So I think it might be a good thing.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I think that him being a heel is good because, I mean, it was really weird at Stand and Deliver. They kind of both got mixed reactions.
Yeah. When they both came out, the fans really didn't cheer for Braun. They really didn't cheer for Carmelo. It seems like they were, I don't know, torn in some weird way. Because you would think they would have wanted to cheer for one of them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there waiting on the big pop for Braun. It didn't happen for Carmelo. It didn't happen, so it kind of went in kind of a little bit flat. And that's where, I was listening to Braun Breaker talk, months or so ago, and he was like, "Man, doesn't matter what the fans think. That's when it does matter the most. What those fans think when you walking out of that curtain." Because we always say, the fans got to be one way or the other. They got to either love you or love to hate you. They can't be in the middle. We can't make any money when they're in the middle. They got to be one way or the other. And that's something that I think he's going to, figure out, in the long run.
Yeah. And kind of defining both of those guys in these roles is helpful because to me, on the show leading up to Stand and Deliver, Carmelo came off like a babyface in a lot of ways, to me at least. The crowd popped when he would come out, and then he worked the match as a heel, so I was a little confused.
Well, just to piggyback off that, Carmelo confuses me sometimes too because I don't know if he's a heel or a babyface. I don't know.
But now I feel like they've permanently put him solid in that babyface.
I don't know. I don't know if he's in that solid babyface role or not until he comes out and play that solid babyface role going forward. He got a lot of grit to him. He got a lot of dirt on him. I like that. I don't like Carmelo Hayes because he's a heel or a babyface. I like Carmelo Hayes because he's that man. He actually makes me feel something about him from a character perspective. That's why I like Carmelo. So him coming out as a heel or a babyface, it's not going to change the way I think. But if he does come out as a babyface, I'm wondering if I'm still going to have the same feeling about it. I can't say that. I don't know if, the rub might be a little different.
Well, the time will tell. Before we go to break, I want to get your reaction to Indy Hartwell, somebody who came through reality wrestling once upon a time, worked her way through NXT for quite some years now, and now has reached the mountaintop as the NXT Women's Champion. What do you think of Indy Hartwell taking the
Indy Hartwell, man? If she was in Texas, it would be called the Ink Well because she hit black coal, Texas tears. It's all in them heels, baby. And she cashed in. I'm loving to see Indy Hartwell get her flowers because I said if Indy didn't win that match, man, she was going to go all the way to the back of the line, and she's been working so hard to actually just get a piece of the, action, a little champagne wishes, a little caviar dreams, and she definitely got it. So I'm proud of Indy. She's we posted a photo with her and Roxanne, I think. No, who was it? AQA in the ring working, and it was so cool to see, two of my finest, make it to that next level. It's so cool, man. It's so freaking cool. As well as to see Roxanne, not win the match, but still give big props to Indy Hartwell. That right there is what a true champion is. That's what's a true champion right there. Champion gonna pass it along. Just like one of my one of my first pupils, Gustavo Mendoza, ran with the title for a year, and he said, "Book, we got to make somebody else that's a champion for you." Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We're doing a little WrestleMania recap, talking about everything that went down in Los Angeles, California. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I love being in LA, man. I love LA. I love Vegas too. I love Vegas. Going to be out in Vegas April 22nd. Ryan Garcia taking on that boy Javante Tank Davis, and I can't wait. I can't wait to get back to Vegas, man. I can't wait. I'm excited. I hope you can tell. I'm excited. We back in the fights, man. What a fight to actually make a return to, man, because this is gonna be who you got in that fight? Who you got?
I mean, I love Tank Davis, obviously. I got Tank, man. I got Tank in that fight. I was gonna big up my guy Garcia, but I think I got Tank in that one.
Everybody talking about it, man. All the pros weighing in on it. Everybody pretty much siding Tank Davis with that power, that uppercut, man, that sleeper that boy got, man. I'm gonna tell you, man, I've seen it up close and personal. And when he catch you with that uppercut, it's nighty night. Get that boy a pillow and some NyQuil because he's in another place right now. So I'm looking forward to getting back to Vegas. But where are we, man? We got any super chatters?
We do. I'll
and roll on a little bit more. Talk about this merger. Talk about the loss of Cody Rhodes. I mean, AEW. We got a lot to talk about.
Let me take. Let me take a couple of super chatters. Jason Cameron Marone says, "Hey, what you gonna say?"
Shucky ducky quack quack.
Shucky ducky quack quack. This from Derek Lindsay.
Super chat.
Look, longtime viewer, been a fan even longer. First super chat because I just figured out how to work it. It's up now. All right, Derek. Well, we appreciate it, man.
Appreciate the $4.99, dog. We appreciate it, bro. Most definitely, man. Most definitely.
We have a couple others. Let's see. This is Kai Toenail.
Big ups.
Give us some Roni, brother. Oh, yeah.
Kai Toenail said, props to Bobby Lashley, Cody Rhodes. Great spending time with the fans. Johnny Gargano. Sorry, man. For some reason, my son didn't want to take a picture with you.
I don't know, man. I guess he doesn't have that infectious feeling like a lot of fans have about Johnny. You know what? You said that was going to make the sheets. Me talking about Johnny Gargano, and it did. But I don't know, man. Johnny Gargano, Grayson Waller, man. What about that match, man? Those guys went out there and they beat each other up, bro. I mean, talking about chopped hamburger, kendo stick. I'm gonna tell you, bro. Let me tell you something. That kendo stick hurts.
It looks like it hurts.
I'm gonna tell you right now. It's nothing fake or phony about getting hit with a kendo stick. I've gotten hit with a kendo stick before, and I say, bro, please don't ever do that ever again because that hurts. And the thing is, Grayson Waller was welted up, bro, like crazy. His body looked like I went to give him a hug after the match, and I realized I had to stop myself because I know he would have been in pain. But those guys went out there and brought it to the WWE universe, and I give those young guys props. But one thing those young guys got, they better realize, they better learn how to use a little bit of smoke, and a little bit of mirrors. You know, if they want to make it to that next phase of their career, that I know they want to go out there and Stand and Deliver was a big showing, a big night. And they're going to go out there and throw everything out. But when I see those guys beating each other up with that kendo stick like that, man, it hurts me. I'm serious. You got to be careful when you're out there doing that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate the super chat there, Kai Toenail. I guess we can start with night one of WrestleMania, which if you had to ask me, was there one night that was better than the other? I would say it was night one, not by a significant margin, but by a good amount, right? That night one was spectacular from the open of the show. Seeing that stage at WrestleMania was just awe-inspiring. Going into the national anthem or the America the Beautiful sang by Becky G, and then into the show. I mean, we start off with John Cena and Austin Theory. That's a pretty big way to start your WrestleMania. But for me, Book, I don't know what matches stuck out to you. There were a lot on the card. That four-way tag was great.
What did you think about the Theory Cena match?
The right guy won. You know, I think
that's not what I said. I said, what do you think about the match?
I thought the match was okay. I know that John Cena is filming a movie right now, so it looked like he's like, hey man, it's like what you used to tell people, one bump max, right? And the house shows. That's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah,
But
we're gonna walk and talk, baby. We're gonna walk and talk. It was one of
John,
those. It was one of
yeah,
those
John Cena from a wrestling standpoint is kind of like, like a Jerry Seinfeld from a comedian standpoint. Is Jerry's going to get a standing ovation whether he tells 3 jokes or 30 jokes? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And John, I think people are so excited to see him. It's almost bigger than the match. It's more about the moment. And he had the Make-A-Wish entrance with the kids.
Yeah,
And then Austin Theory beating him, I thought was the right call. Like, yeah, out of the 8 matches that went on that night, was it first on the call sheet? No. But you know what? I didn't really have any expectations for it. I just was like, man, this is going to be a change WrestleMania. Theory needs the victory here, and he retained, and that's how it should have gone.
Oh no, I feel the same way. No, I'm serious. I feel the same way. John Cena came back and put that kid over. Everybody wanted to see that match because so many people see so much of a parallel to John Cena and Austin Theory. Those guys almost cut from the same cloth in a lot of different ways. John Cena was definitely a guy that was before his time. As for what I wouldn't say before his time. He was right on time. Being a guy that could come in and not be the best wrestler, but could still be the best performer on the roster. That's what I say about John Cena. He wasn't the best wrestler by far, but he was damn near the best guy in the locker room every night. And I see this kid Austin Theory being a young guy. I've talked to this kid. He wants to learn this business. He wants to learn what it takes to work at the top of the card and to get in there and get the rub from somebody like John Cena. I remember John Cena working with me, and John Cena was the kid that was sitting under the learning tree in that aspect. And all that dude did was keep his ears open. That's all he did, was want to figure out how to, be the best. And I appreciated that from coming from that guy, because I knew even at that time, I knew I wasn't the guy. I knew John Cena was the guy, but he still had that wherewithal and understanding and know-how to just listen and learn. And that's what Austin Theory is.
I agree with you. The sky is the limit for Austin Theory moving forward. We'll see where he goes after this win. I mean, he's going to be a world champion someday. It's almost destined. It's on him now, right? It's on him to put in the rest of the work and get there. The Fatal 4-Way tag was great, but man, Seth freaking Rollins and Logan Paul, these guys went out and again, and I can't give all the praise to Logan Paul because it's Seth Rollins he's in there with. But they had an excellent match.
Yeah.
And Logan Paul turned 28 that day. He came out a la Shawn Michaels on the little gimmick, the little whatever you call that, what is zip line.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to have like a super high quality match with one of the best in the business. And it's his like 5th match ever. It was excellent.
No, I'm impressed with that kid, man, just because he seems so comfortable in this atmosphere, in that WWE atmosphere, going out there and being the ultimate entertainer, even like you say, coming down on the zip line, being mic'd up and being like so happy, just to be a part of that. And then to have the nerves under control enough to where he can go out in the middle of the ring in front of how many thousand, 70,000, 80,000, and execute. Oh my God, man. I tell people all the time, man, the butterflies that's going through the body, I always say you got to get those butterflies to line up and fly straight. This kid has been able to, do that on a regular. And I tell you, it's uncanny ability, because being inside that ring, it's not easy. It's not easy at all to perform in front of thousands of people, knowing that you are one step away from making a mistake, a blunder that the whole world is going to see. It's so much pressure. And for him to be able to go out there and do that, like you say, working with Seth Rollins gives him a feeling to where, I'm sure that, Seth is going to put him in a zone where, hey, we can get this done. No matter what happens in this match, I'll be able to fix it. One of those type of deals. But for him to actually be able to go out there and pull it off, I give that dude a lot of props, man, because I'm going to tell you, I've never seen anyone come in and do what Logan Paul has done. Nobody.
He's sensational.
Pat McAfee. I give Pat McAfee big props. He might be the next guy that has come in from the outside world that's able to go out and have a coherent match.
Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
Yeah, but I will say Logan Paul. Actually, like if you'd ask me fan-wise outside the ring, who am I the biggest fan of? Logan Paul's probably last on the list. But if you ask me wrestling-wise, who's the one that you want to see the most? It'd be Logan Paul. Yeah, just because of the quality of matches that he puts out there. It has been something sensational that you're right, that very few people can take to it as quickly as he did. And that kid's a real athlete. He is a real athlete.
He is. Hey, we got to take a break. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Every time I come here, I just like have so much fun. I go home and we just can't stop talking about it till we come back.
The whole roster, top to bottom, star-studded guys.
We drove 12 hours from Atlanta just to come see one Mr. for the World. It's one of the premier independent wrestling promotions across America.
It's a well-oiled machine, and there's a lot of good talent, which is very rare on in these shows to see so much talent on one show.
The organization that he has right now, I think and truly believe that it's one of the best organizations out there.
Brian Keith is 15 feet in the air! Brian Keith from up top!
A lot of fun, a lot of good athletes, good wrestlers, good family fun.
I've been around with a lot of the other independent groups, but this to me is a very, very top and first-class operation.
Reality of wrestling, one word, heart. And that's what Booker T is bringing to Houston. It's already special.
He's created opportunity, and he's creating great talent, as you guys well know.
You can't make it happen without these young people, without the fans coming out supporting this thing. This is the flagship of Texas wrestling. This is the beginning of something big. It ain't gonna stop.
It's the best damn promotion in the country right now. The best independent promotion in the country. The best talent, the best coach and teacher that there ever was. And this is where it's at right here in the reality of wrestling. Believe that.
Oh my goodness! A Davidson driver!
It's very professional. It's a very good production. Booker's doing it right. I really enjoyed being a part of it.
Oh, what a rush.
The future of wrestling is reality of wrestling. That's the reality of the situation.
I'm Roddy Piper, and you're watching Reality of Wrestling. Be there, be square, babe.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Talking a little WrestleMania recap. I was just reading a guy got kicked out of WrestleMania for dressing up as the legendary Big Boss Man. He got kicked out for impersonating a cop.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh my God, man. People are crazy, man. If that's true, man, bro, I'm sorry that happened to him.
That sucks.
I love Big Boss Man, man. I love Big Ray Traylor, man. Godspeed. I love that dude, man. Seriously. Where should we go, man? Where should we go?
We're going to the card, so I'll make reference of everything that was on the show because I think they all deserve a little bit of shine. Even this women's six-man tag match, Damage Control, Trish, Lita, Becky Lynch. This is one of the first match I got to watch from the floor for the night. And I will say, man, it was a match exactly what it needed to be. I like that they're able to, I'm sure for Dakota Kai and Io Sky and Bayley for that matter, it was just awesome to be in the ring with Lita and Trish and Becky Lynch for that matter. She's a big star in her own right. Trish off the charts. I'm respectfully, just off the charts. Beautiful. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You up close. It's a whole different ball game. But the match was what it was. And I thought that, the tag team champions obviously can't lose. What does it mean for Damage Control going forward? I don't really know if that faction is going to stick around for a long time. But it was a fine match.
Yeah. I mean, I like what Damage Control has been doing. I mean, Bayley's definitely, set those girls on a path, where they're getting a rub, they're getting a shine, they actually getting a piece of the action, which is really, really cool. Where it's gonna go, I really don't know, but like you say, I'm happy seeing the old schoolers out there, and they still got it. They still got it. Still looking. When I see Lita pull that moonsault off, man, she's still pulling it. I'm like, come on, man. For me, doing the spinneroo is like a 4-hour warm up, and she's still doing the. I'm serious.
And she's always come about this far from her head hitting
Oh my
the
God, man,
mat.
it's so scary, dog. It's so.
But she
scary.
does it
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, but no, it's cool to see them still out there doing that thing, man. Yeah, I always say it, man. As long as you can, until the wheels fall off, until you can't do it no more, do it, because in this life, we're not guaranteed tomorrow, and when it's over, it's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
The match, though, the one of the night that was just so cool. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio, father versus son. Dom has this great intro with a bunch of cops taking him out of the police van. Well, actually, the Reality Wrestling Champion was represented at the show, I'll just say, and leading him out to the ring. What a phenomenal entrance. I'm like, how is Rey going to top that? And then you hear nothing but a G thing. Camera cuts to the back. Snoop Dogg in a low with Rey Mysterio. Then Eddie's music plays when they come out to the arena. Then Rey gets his full entrance with his music. I was like, oh, man, they went all out for this.
No, they went out. Everybody's interest went all out. That's one thing that I noticed that was a little bit different about this WrestleMania is the interests. Everybody had a really elaborate, feel as far as the interest go. John Cena's interest was just John Cena, of course. You know what I mean? Playing his kids. But everybody had a really, really cool interest. And the one that Dom had was really awesome with the police running like he's coming out of prison with the Rey Mysterio mask on, but then taking the mask off. Oh, it was great. It was great. The match. Dominic is man, he's come so far. He's grown up, seemed like he's grown up right before our very eyes into a grown man, almost, and I tell you what, this Judgment Day thing did a world of good for him as far as just being able to grab some character. He's going to be able to go where. You remember I was just talking about it? I was just talking about it a second ago as far as being a heel, what it does for you when you do become a babyface. When Dominic finally becomes a babyface, man, he's going to be over like crazy, man, as well as he's going to know all the intricate details of what it means to go out there and be a babyface at the same time. So I'm loving everything that they're doing with Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, the match was great, too. Rey paid tribute to the Great Muta with his mask. And so many things happen. Bad Bunny gets involved. The Judgment Day gets involved. The Mysterio family gets involved. Rey puts a whooping on Dominic. And these two guys were going for it. I almost forgot that it was a father and son thing. It just looked like two great pro wrestlers putting on a great match. And the drama of the family just added to it. It was to that point the best thing on the show.
Charmel told me that mask looked like a Great Muta mask. And I was like, I don't know, it looked like it's just a little different, but it did have all the, the back design of Great Muta, and then the front was more Rey Mysterio, at least the sides were, so yeah, that was really, really cool. Great Muta, there again, man, such an icon and such a legend in this business. I just got to give him props because he's a guy that I emulated in so many ways, as far as my style go, hitting the ropes, dropping the elbow, everything was all Great Muta when I was doing that stuff, man. He was so good. Being a Japanese wrestler, didn't even speak English or anything, but he still related to me like, man, this dude he's got to be one of the greatest, that I've ever seen do it, and it was really, really awesome to see Muta go into the Hall of Fame, being a guy who never worked in the WWE.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. The next match on the card, though, might have been the match of night one. It's either the number one or a real close second. And you were talking about Judgment Day. Mommy, Rhea Ripley, went out there and pulled it off against Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This was the longest match up to that point of the night. It was almost as long as the main event, and it sure felt like a main event with those two women out there. They tore the house down.
The best one won too. Actually, the right one won. I was glad to see Rhea actually win that match. Charlotte, she's made, and that's one thing about the business. You need, players. You need, people that you're going to be able to work with, people to create storylines with. And anybody in the world could believe Rhea Ripley going out there and beating Charlotte Flair, and I think that's what that came down to, believability. Rhea Ripley definitely, she let it all hang out, but she couldn't have gotten it done without Charlotte Flair being, that one. I'm serious, man. She is so freaking good in that squared circle. No matter how long she takes off, when she comes back, she's still just as flawless. So I give both of those ladies a lot of props, but for Charlotte, even more so, because when you're passing the torch, that's a big moment. That really is a big moment, when you got to go out there and get somebody else over. And for me, that was like the best part of my career, was when I was out there helping somebody else get to that next level. So that right there, that match was pretty cool.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Now I want to say this. There was a lot of talk about what was Bobby Lashley going to do on the show. I said maybe he could do some sort of open challenge gimmick. The Miz is out there with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg saying, hey, man, like, are you not going to wrestle at WrestleMania? However they got into it. And Miz, like, I put a challenge out there on every social media. Nobody's going to accept it. Nobody wants any of the Miz at WrestleMania. I was certain they were going to play Bobby Lashley's music at this point. But they played Pat McAfee, and I was just as excited to see Pat. Pat came out there with Travis Kelce, and George Kittle, excuse me. And they were able to go out there and put on a fun little breather of a match that was, you could turn your brain off and just watch Miz bump and feed for Pat McAfee. Pat goes over. Did you think this was going to be Bobby when you were watching?
No.
Okay. You didn't know what was going to happen.
You remember I said Bobby, it might have been best for him to take the night off.
Right.
But Bobby had the best spot, doing the Battle Royal, winning the Battle Royal. That right there, keep your stock in the right spot, going up. It didn't fall or anything like that. You can put Bobby in an angle now after WrestleMania and work that angle towards the next WrestleMania, because there again, I've said it once, I said it 1,000 times, we really don't know how long Bobby Lashley is going to be around in the company. I think the last time I really talked about Bobby Lashley and how long Bobby was going to be around, I said, I think they got plans for Bobby over these next 3 years. I think we're in that third year now. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Bobby winning that Battle Royal enables him to actually move towards one more WrestleMania, guaranteed, no matter what. And then whatever we do after that, it's just gravy.
I know we have to take a break here soon, but do we want to get into the main event? Tag team championships up for grabs. First time a tag team match main evented WrestleMania since WrestleMania 1. This goes back to Paul Orndorff, Roddy Piper, Mr. T, and Hogan. And I couldn't think of four better men to do it. The Usos, perhaps the greatest tag team in WWE history, going up against Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, paying off that bloodline story for the tag titles in the main event. Oh.
Great match, but we ain't got enough time to talk about it right now. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
My name is Nathan Wasser, and I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I came down here to Reality of Wrestling to improve my training and get myself more experience learning from the absolute best. It's intense. It's hard. You got to leave your ego at the door and come in with an open mind. The way they do stuff here is the next level. But if you do that, you'll end up bettering yourself in the end, and you'll improve, and you'll be able to work anywhere.
Nathan, he's an unbelievably awesome student. I'll tell you why, right? For a few reasons. Number one, the man packed up all the way from the Great White North to move down here to the U.S. to train because he wanted to learn from one of the best. But what's even more impressive, on top of the fact that he takes care of his body, he works hard, is the fact that he was trained by a very reputable trainer and yet still comes down here humble, hungry, ready to work and ready to learn, and not coming in here acting like he knows everything or that he's too rigid in his ways.
Booker's knowledge will help you get to whatever goals you want to do if you want to be a big star in this industry. My end goal is to be in WWE. Coming down here to Reality of Wrestling, I feel is the best opportunity for me to get there. So I'm going to do whatever it takes. I can promise you, when you come to Reality of Wrestling, it will change your life. You will not regret it.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Talking about that main event, WrestleMania Night 1, Sami Zayn, KO versus the Usos for the WWE Undisputed Tag Team El Gran Champion. Greatest tag team of all time, WWE, Usos. I give them that props, man. Those guys definitely, those my boys. They got their finishing touches at Reality of Wrestling, which I'm honored. I was honored to actually have those guys in my school, and for their dad to actually trust me with them more than anything, to teach them that art of Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, Phantom of the Opera. That's what those guys do best. They go out and perform nightly. And the thing is, the matches that they have been pulling off as of late has just been flawless. They've been, they were stuck in that grind for a while, because they was going against the New Day. It seemed like every week, every show, that seemed like they was going against the New Day. Now we get a chance to see these guys against other talent, and we're really getting a chance to see that these guys are really truly that good. No matter who they're facing, no matter who they're working. The matches that they had with New Day, people say, man, those were classic matches. Those were some of the best matches that people had ever seen. But you can put the Usos, just like you can put Roman Reigns with anybody, and those guys are going to go out there and bring it. They're going to deliver every time, every single time they're going to deliver. So watching the Usos go out there and have their best match in their loss. I always tell my students, you got to lose better than you win. And for those guys to go out there and lose the way they did at the highest peak, when the fans were totally like off their rocker, it just let me know, man, what a job well done, man. Those guys learned everything that we talked about on their way up.
That match, watching it live with 80,000 people, I was along for the ride the entire time, Yeah. And that's one of the things about watching wrestling live, that even if you went into that and you didn't feel either way, like you didn't care who won, just say, when you sit in a stadium with 80,000 people who are unanimously cheering for one team, you find yourself getting swept up in the emotions of the moment.
Yeah.
And I was so into that tag match. I watched everything. And this is how I know I was so into it. I didn't take any pictures with my phone. I didn't do any videos to capture the big moments. I was in like Flynn. And that main event that they pulled off with all the story building up to it, I don't know if we'll ever see a tag team match that satisfying at WrestleMania, perhaps for a very long time, if ever again. It was so organic. They played it perfectly in the finish with Sammy hitting those haluva kicks on Jay and just staring at him for what felt like a minute long, just staring at him, milking every emotion out of the crowd before he hits it and gets that 1, 2, 3, was, as you just said, Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, DiCaprio, Phantom of the Opera at its very finest. It was the drama that makes professional wrestling what it is. And congrats to Sammy and KO. And also big ups to Kevin Owens. That's his second main event of WrestleMania in 2 years. One against Steve Austin and one against the Usos in the main event. Pretty damn good year for KO.
I always said that dude was money from day one. I always said Kevin Owens was money. A lot of people didn't believe in Kevin Owens just because he wasn't the prototypical, wrestler. He didn't have that prototypical main event look. This dude is he's paid his dues more than anything. This guy weathered the storm, and that's the one thing about about some wrestlers. You know what I mean? They may not, have, like I say, that prototypical look. They may not be the chosen one. They may not be the guy that, is looking to be the face of the company or anything like that. But they win by attrition. And that's what this kid, Kevin Owens, has done, man. He's won by attrition more than anything. He goes out and perform at such a high level. He's kind of like got that Mick Foley effect. You just want to love him.
Yeah.
You just want to get behind him.
And there's nothing wrong with it. Like, you just love Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and I was proud of them in that main event. It was also funny to see them in the post-fight press conference. Sammy's got some long-winded answers because he's very passionate about what he does. And I kept looking over at Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens kept picking up those Snickers bars they had on that. And he must have gone through a couple of them while Sammy was talking. And it was funny. He was even looking around like, is anybody noticing I'm taking a big bite of this thing? Props to those guys. We still have a whole night of WrestleMania to run down. We only got a couple segments left of the show. Should we kind of skim through a little bit of night 2 and talk about the big points?
Yeah, let's do it.
Brock Lesnar, Omos. I would have gone with Omos taking the victory there. What do you think?
Well, how I felt, when they put that match together. I said this could be a moment, for Omos to be able to grow and to have someone like Brock Lesnar to help him grow. I thought that would have been a good thing, but obviously they got other plans with Brock, doing the thing with Cody Rhodes. Maybe, Brock and Cody look like they're going to, mix it up. Cody may have to go through Brock to get to that next level. I get it. But I did think that was a moment that we could have really made Omos the ultimate giant. And I think we missed a moment.
Now, I got to watch this match with you. Gunther, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, one of the best Intercontinental title matches in recent memory. Those guys beat the holy hell out of one another. Right guy went over, in my opinion. And boy, was Gunther elevated again tonight or that night.
No, this dude he's a future world champion in the company. He's a guy that's going to be that killer monster heel in WWE. Timing is on his side as well. He's young. He goes out, and if you don't believe what Gunther does is real, just take one of those chops. That's all you got to do. Just take one. And you would go, oh my God. When I was in the Rumble, I thought about taking one of those chops. And then I said, man, the hell with that. I'm not taking that damn chop. I might die in the middle of this ring tonight taking one of those chops.
I was going to say, you can eliminate me from the Royal, not eliminate me from life.
I'm serious, man. But Sheamus, Drew, man, those guys, they really went out and made me proud of what, wrestling is, and, to be in this business, to be a part of this business. That's what we do, what those guys went out there and did, and that's suspend the imagination of the fan and bring them into the ring for that moment in time to where you go, man, I know what this is, but this is good. And that's the way I was. I'm serious. That's the way I was when I was a fan coming up. I knew exactly what professional wrestling was. But I love the guys who went out and did it well and made me feel a certain way when I walked away from it. It was like watching one of those karate movies, downtown. When I left the theater, I was screaming and chopping and having some fun. And that's what those guys did for me in that match. And like you say, the right guy won. Gunther, he's the next big thing.
What did you think of Bianca Belair and Asuka?
I thought it was good, man. I thought, one thing about Bianca Belair, she's been having some Mat Classics, and it's gonna be hard for her to go out there and live up to every one of her matches. You know what I mean? The last one is always gonna be about the last match with Bianca Belair. But Bianca, she showed me that she deserves to be in that spot. She deserves to be champion, and the praise that she has been getting. And the spots that she's been putting in, those spots wasn't given to her or anything like that. She put in the work. And I've been waiting to see a Bianca Belair come along for a very, 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 very long time. Put an exclamation point on that.
I loved it. I thought it was excellent. Those two are two of the best in the whole company, and I thought we had back-to-back nights with great women's championship matches. Now, what did you think of Snoop Dogg, Shane McMahon, and The Miz? They set up the open challenge again. Miz does, and Shane O'Mac is back after Royal Rumble 2022 when we thought we weren't going to see him again.
When I heard the music, I went crazy. I said, Shane O'Mac's back. You know what I mean? I knew he was going to be doing the Ali Shuffle. I knew he was going to have on a nice pair of Jordans. And one thing about Shane, he prepares. He prepares for the moment. But one thing about Father Time, it waits for no man. That's just the way it is. It waits for no man. And the one thing, if I would have been working with Shane McMahon going into that match, the one thing I would have said was, no, take that leapfrog and throw it out. Okay, we won't be doing that tonight. Any jumping, anything other than the Ali Shuffle on the stage, throw it out. Wipe it out. We don't need it. You know what I'm saying? Just because the body reacts differently doing something that small when you get past that number. And that's all it was. But I give Snoop Dogg big props for stepping in and saving the day. Because, we could really be talking about how disastrous of a match that was. But Snoop Dogg, I don't know if somebody gave him the Iggy, but he definitely stepped in and did the right thing.
It was just a testament to the performer that Snoop Dogg is, right? It's like, hey man, this set's not going right. Let me go back to my bag of tricks here.
Right hand was stiff.
It was stiff as all hell.
People's elbow was literally directly to the heart. So I give him props. We got to take a break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
To the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Shup! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We about to wrap this mug up. We talking about WrestleMania. WrestleMania went down night 1, night 2, as well as Monday Night Raw went down. It was a monster week, dog. It was a monster week. And I was so freaking tired. I said, man, let me just get to NXT Tuesday night, right? Just let me get to NXT Tuesday night because I could see myself rounding the corner of that 800 meters, right? And I said, I'm almost at the finish line. I'm almost there. Just finish it up. Got through that 2 hours easy down in Orlando. Got through it easy, man. I said, man, I'm going to get up in the morning. I got a 7 o'clock flight. Get home by 8:30. Everything's gonna be beautiful, 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 baby. And I got up, and my flight was delayed for 4 hours. All right, I finally got on the flight and landed in Houston, and it was raining so hard. My bags was delayed on the plane. Couldn't even come off the tarmac onto the belt to get my luggage and go home for an hour and a half. So I'm like, man, what the hell is going on? It seemed like I was destined to, not make it home yesterday, but I did, and I'm happy to be home. But I can't wait to get back. WrestleMania, boy.
We got to get to the main event and
Super Chat.
DJ 1491 is going to help us get there. Really did like the Cody and Roman finish. Killed all Cody's momentum, and Roman would have been fine without the belts. This is Lex Luger and Yokozuna Part 2. Of course, referencing the WrestleMania 10 match.
Well, I don't write the show. Would I have liked to see Cody win? Yeah, I would have. Could the storyline have been a little bit stronger if Cody wouldn't have went down and we would have been able to do that work over that, 4-month period? Right? 4 months?
Yeah.
I think that right there definitely threw a monkey wrench in the storyline, the build to Cody actually being able to win at WrestleMania. I think that might have threw a little bit of a monkey wrench in it. Would we have still been happy, to see Cody cash in? You know what I mean? Would the story have been complete? Yes, I do. But I do think that 4 months not being able to build that story, mixing in other guys where Cody don't just jump from zero to hero, would have been necessary. That's just my opinion.
I was surprised. I was never shocked in wrestling, but I was surprised that they didn't pull the trigger on Cody Rhodes. It just seemed like the right moment to do so. But I do not agree with the fact that all of his momentum is killed.
No, I don't agree.
Because it came out today that the Brock Lesnar program has been planned for a month. That they knew they were going in this direction. And if you can feel the momentum behind Cody, you want to continue to build it. I guess. Like, I would have pulled the trigger. I would have. But I was reminded about a time at Reality of Wrestling. We were going to have a cage match where we thought we were going to put Gino Medina over for the title against Aiden Cristiano. And we had it planned out for a month, right? And then the day of, you made a game time decision. And you said, it's not time yet. We give this a couple more months, the pop's going to be even louder. And I thought I was adamantly against it at the time. But we went and did it the way that you laid it out. And then when Gino finally did win the title, roof jumped, right? The roof jumped.
Well, my thing is this, and I'll pose a question to you. Are you going to stop cheering for Cody Rhodes because he lost that match?
No.
Exactly my point. Are you going to cheer for him against Brock Lesnar?
Yes.
Are you going to want him to overcome Brock Lesnar to get back to Roman Reigns?
1,000%.
If he beat Roman Reigns after doing that, are you going to pop for it?
100%.
I think so. So when people get lost in the weeds on this should have happened and not really knowing why it should have happened, other than it's something that they wanted, that's when you can get lost in the weeds. For me, I'm always thinking about the big picture, and for Cody Rhodes losing that 4 months definitely put him behind the 8 ball as far as really delivering what we need to deliver. And my thing is this: I'm thinking about time. I'm trying to stretch time as much as I possibly can. I'm trying to bend, time as much as I possibly can. And when you just do something like that, you can book yourself in the corner and you go, okay, where do we go now? Cody's the champion. Where do we go?
Yeah. Yeah, you booked in a corner. You are. And it's hard having a babyface champion on top for a long time. The chase is really what the story's about.
These fans today, they'll turn on you in a heartbeat.
Second.
They would turn on you in a heartbeat. So you can definitely not, write the card thinking about what fans, emotions are feeling at that moment in time. You know what I mean? Because, there again, for me, when Cody comes out, if I'm a fan, I'm going to cheer for him. I'm going to cheer even more for him now. Because, man, I think you got screwed. Look here, let me tell you, and just for a comparison, when I didn't win against Triple H, you think the fans turned on me?
Mm-mm.
They cheered for me even more. They wanted me to win even more after I didn't win that match. So I don't look at wrestling as today. I'm always looking at what we can do with what we could take this.
I agree with you. Like, again, it was a decision that we're gonna have to see how it plays out over time. And him and Brock, I like that on paper. I like it on paper. We'll see where it goes. We have a ton of super chats left.
Let's do it.
I want to also get your quick reaction to the UFC and WWE merger. Vince McMahon pulling off a deal with Ari Emanuel.
I'm gonna tell you, we could talk about that in about 10 seconds. I already asked for a raise. All right, let's move on.
Is it strange though for you for the WWE and UFC to be under the same roof now?
For me, man, I'm loving it, man. I need tickets to every UFC big show. I mean, I want to be, in the media scrums. I want to be right there, Johnny on the spot. This just brings me a little bit closer to something that I love so much. I've been a part of the game since day one. I've been day one-ish. I've been there with the UFC. So for me, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I love it.
You know what? I think that they make sense on paper to be under the same company. I know people have their feelings about Vince McMahon and him being back in a creative chair. I said, let's see where this goes and let it play out because I think he's going to be too busy to be sitting in Gorilla every Monday night. But we'll see. That's neither here nor there, BT. Let's get to these super chats here.
Super chat.
Guy Toenail says, I was wondering what happened to all the call-ups after Mania on Raw. Bailey was missing. I've heard rumors about her not being happy. I hope it isn't true.
You know, one thing about this business, man, you ain't going to always be happy all the time. That's just the way it is. And if you think you are, you got a problem. If you're thinking about that, and you're thinking about the wrong things. As far as the call-ups go, I don't know. I don't know who's going to be called up. I don't know when they're going to be called up. But I do have my eye on a couple of people that should be called up. We'll see if it happens. If it don't, I don't want to put it out there because it may not happen. And if it don't, I don't want an egg on my face or anything like that. But we'll see.
Another one, Callie, is Brock at the point of forget the storyline? I'm just going to fight whoever it was. First he had Bobby, then overnight it was Omos. Now it's right over to Cody.
I mean, there again, if I'm a promoter, okay, if Brock Lesnar is available, I'm gonna try to get him on the show. We'll try to get him on the show just because he's a major star. Brock Lesnar draws numbers. Putting him in the ring with Omos, I'll take that. Putting him in the ring with Bobby, I'll take that. My thing is though. Love everything about Brock Lesnar, but I do think there again, the matchup that he was in this last WrestleMania with Omos, I just think it could have been done perhaps a little bit differently.
Agreed. We have Marcus Craig here who says, Book, I met you in 1998 in Dallas, Texas. By far my favorite wrestler of all time. I love the show. Keep up the great work.
Appreciate it, man. Represent D-Town, dog. That's why I started right there at Sportatorium. 10,000 Industrial Boulevard. And what a time I had in that building down there, man. That's some great people.
Callie Toenail says, Boat, I saw Snoop give you a little California love. I want to know what y'all thought of the People's Elbow doggy style. Then I said, dog, don't do that. I rap. Yeah. By the way, your mother-in-law was the reason why I had a brush in with Snoop Dogg because we were trying to meet you to leave the show, and Snoop was in the hallway. And next thing I know, your mother-in-law was sitting right next to me, and then she was gone. And I looked over. She had ran right up to Snoop Dogg to take a picture. And then we were right over there hanging with Snoop, and he was all love and everything.
Oh man, I got a tickle out of my daughter. Right, she came to me and she goes, "Dad, I didn't know you knew Snoop Dogg." And I go, "Well, you never asked."
The doggy elbow. Look, I mean, did he take the ropes like a pro? No, but the elbow was awesome. It was awesome.
Look here, I'm gonna tell you right now. I do fantasy camp, and Snoop Dogg ran the ropes better than 30-40% of the fantasy campers.
Yeah. This is from Jason Marone, who says, to all those who didn't like the Universal title finish, watch Heyman on Helwani's interview. He was so eloquently spells out why it was the correct move. Well, we'll have to watch that book and get back with it.
You know what? I don't have to watch it and see. Like I say, I'm always thinking about the show, and I'm always thinking about not what I should have done. I'm always thinking about how can I make this into something. That's what I'm always thinking about.
And our last one of the night is for Green Athletics. Love the show. I want to say a special thanks for the chat with the boat after night 2 up the endless ramp. Yeah, this was my guy who helped me through. Wrapped up my awesome weekend of WrestleMania. One day I got to catch a reality wrestling show live.
Hey, man, come on down, man. Every second Saturday of the month, we're doing our thing. So reality wrestling is going strong right now. We're getting ready to get into a new facility as well. So guys, you want to be a part of Reality Wrestling, go to realityofwrestling.com. Do it now. I do it for you. Right now, guys, we got to get out of here. Another great night of Hall of Fame action. I want to thank everybody in the chat for getting your champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Bradley, as always, man, I appreciate you for doing the heavy lifting. But right now, peace. We out of here.